Your problems will never end. That sounds terrible to say, and I know that may seem like, I'm saying that they'll be dragged on forever, but I think I should say that it's not one specific problem that will never end, but I mean like all problems will never end, right? Because once you solve one, another problem will just take its place in your life. And it's basically just, a never ending cycle of solving one, getting another one, solving one, getting another one, and solving it, and it just keeps going on. It's like having, a mountain with like peaks of different heights, and you conquer one set of them, and then there's another set of them that you have to overcome. And you know what? I'm just gonna show you what I'm talking about. So I made a little like visualization right here, and this is basically what I was talking about in the previous section of the video. You know what? I'm just gonna come around and I'm just gonna show you exactly what I mean. So I hope you see this like very professional drawing here, but I tried to find a picture on Google that kind of showed what I was talking about, but I couldn't. So I'm just gonna like split. So you split this into 4 sections, right? You have your childhood, you have your teens, your adult life, and then your like post-retirement, let's call it. Right? And when you were a kid, like all you worried about was like what you were gonna do that summer, or the fact that you had a fight with your best friend, or whatever it is, right? Whatever problems kids have, right? So then you conquer that, and that's done. And then you get to your teens and your 20s, and you think about graduating, you think about whatever you're gonna take in college, finding a job, finding a significant other, solving foundational problems that like 18 to 25-year-olds have, right? But then like when you look back at the things that you were so worried about as a kid, well, they basically mean nothing now because your problems or whatever you have to overcome have been upgraded, right? So okay, let's say you picked a major, you found a job, and you're in your like adult life now, right? So you're here, but then all of a sudden the problems that you were worrying about here and here, they basically mean nothing right now. So then, that's when you have to start thinking about buying a house, having kids, like whether or not you're gonna get promoted at your job, whether or not you have to find a new job, maybe you find new friends, people start changing, things like that. So okay, you overcome those, you're in your like post-retirement, maybe a little bit before that, you have a few kids, you get your life in order, and then all of a sudden the problems that you had here are no longer problems, right? Then you take a step further and you're in your 60s now. Then, you have to worry about getting old, you start thinking about life, maybe people, start passing away, and things like that. Obviously, these problems you can't really solve. That's not really something that you solve. Like, you can't solve getting old. You just get old and then you die, right? But it's like when you were here, this is all you worried about. But then when you got here, these didn't mean anything. And then you ring when you were here. And then when you got here, these didn't mean anything. So it's like, that's what I'm trying to say is like, given enough time, like you'll overcome all of the problems in whichever stage of your life that you're currently in, just like you did with the previous stage. I hope that made sense. I don't think we'll never not have any problems in our lives because I just laid out almost all of them like 2 minutes ago. But what will help is how we deal with those problems. Like worrying about them and not actively trying to solve them won't do anything for us except put unnecessary stress on our shoulders. Like let's say you're in school right now, right? And you're on Zoom every day at, whatever time, and you're sitting there in class and you're bored, but deep down, like, in your soul, like you're worrying. You're worrying if you're gonna graduate, you're worrying if you're gonna be able to find a job, you're worrying if you even pick the right major. But, always remember that things are gonna work out. Like just chill. Let life just take its course and everything will be okay. Like I remember when I was in school and it was getting to the end of the year in my last year, and I remembered that you needed a 50 to pass, a 50% to pass the class. And I was panicking because I didn't think I passed. And then I would have had to do a whole other half year of school just for 1 credit. But in the end, everything worked out and I was worrying for no reason. And I think my mistake was I didn't do anything to actively try and solve the problem, like doing any extra work or, anything like that. I was worrying just because I could. And now, looking back, me worrying didn't mean anything because either way I passed. And I didn't do anything to help myself stop worrying. I was just worrying without putting in any extra work, so it didn't help me in any way. So the next part of this video might be a bit controversial, so this is your fair warning. The thing I don't understand is that we spend all this time worrying about our own problems that we forget that other people have problems way worse than ours. And I'm not saying that we should make other people's problems our own or that your problems aren't bad, but think about the positions that people have that are worse than ours, right? Let's not forget that almost 1 billion people with a B don't have access to clean water, and that unsafe water is responsible for 1.2 million deaths per year. Like, we complain and make big scenes that places we order our food from got our order wrong, but kids in Africa have to go hunt for their food every day, and a meal is never guaranteed. All we have to do is basically walk down the street or open the fridge, right? They have to walk how far to get water for their village, and most of the time the water is contaminated anyway. Kids in the Middle East have to worry about jets constantly flying over their heads, and the fact that one person sitting behind a desk across the world controls whether or not they'll get bombed today or next week or even at all. They constantly live in fear of being wiped off the face of the earth, or soldiers kicking in their door when they're in school, or just settling down to go to bed. So the next time that you think your problems are bad, think about those kids, and think about those people in those developing countries who would literally kill to have what you do. And remember this, a happy person wants 10,000 things, but a sick person only wants one. And as always, thanks for watching.